Since its release, a very controversial LEGO Castle theme has been Knight's Kingdom 2. Now, it has a lot of great things going for it, and I think the theme itself is overhated. Now, I'm not going to act like Knight's Kingdom 2 is the perfect theme, and it's the best castle theme LEGO has ever made, but it's got a lot of good stuff to it. So, I wanted to talk about it with someone who's an expert on Knight's Kingdom 2. In the Cheesey Studios, I have Cheesey Studios with me. And if you don't know, you made 3, maybe 4, hopefully at some point, Knight's Kingdom 2 videos.
We got 4 revisitings because I've done the action figures separately. So I'm up for 6, so that's 2 more. For total of 6 after this. So. And
no one would make 6 Knight's Kingdom 2 videos unless they really love the theme. So
it's awesome.
So if you don't know Caleb, he is Cheesey Studios on YouTube. He was on LEGO Masters Season 2. He built the giant Minecraft world that took, 50 episodes in 3 years to make? He's got an insane roster. And if you're not already subscribed to him, I don't know what you're doing with your life. You should go subscribe and watch all of his revisiting videos. They're almost as good as my Tavern Talks.
That's the goal. That's like what I'm striving for.
No, they're 10 times better than my Tavern Talks.
They're totally different things. They're not comparable in that sense. Right.
That's true. We got this. We spent 7 days together, so this is going to be a lot of fun, guys. So, first off, you love Knight's Kingdom 2. Why? Why do you love this theme that everyone else refuses to like? Which we want to change that today. We're going to make you guys like this by the end of this video.
I remember the first time I heard someone say to my face, Jelly Bean Nights. And I'm pretty sure it was Mark Erickson on the set of LEGO Masters Season 2. And I was just bamboozled. Like, are you throwing shade? Or maybe it was a good thing because jelly beans taste good, right?
Yeah.
But it was definitely a bad thing. And that was when I was forced to realize that, people had negative thoughts about Knight's Kingdom. Because I do not.
Yeah.
Knight's Kingdom was my first proper LEGO theme. So I would have been a whopping 6 years old in 2004 when Knight's Kingdom 2 dropped for the first time. And I was just getting into that age where I could start building with LEGO, right? And so some of my earliest LEGO memories go back to the buildable action figures, right? Because you're looking at, what were those things? Maybe 25 to 50 parts.
Yeah.
Pretty easy to put together. Super big.
Good for a child's hand.
Great to play with. It was a big, satisfying model. I imagine the Galador joints were a little bit hard to get together, but that's what parents were for.
Exactly.
Regardless, that's where I started. Loved the canisters. Loved the world. I was a big fantasy kid. Loved knights, castles, and so to get those bold colors that appeal to a younger, more imaginative child, it just hit me at the right point in my life. And my parents were very supportive of this Knight's Kingdom thing. My brother and I, between the two of us, we had a lot of the sets growing up and just a lot of fond memories made with those.
I mean, hey, look, if there's anyone to talk to about it, it clearly seems you then, because I was 4 when they came out, and also I remember Knight's Kingdom 2 on the Lego.com website, like just at the end of it.
Because what it would have been, probably, like they would have taken it off the website maybe tail end of 2007, I would say.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's, as I said, like when I started to get into it because of Exoforce was the first time I was on the Lego website. So
yeah, there was definitely crossover between Exoforce and Knight's Kingdom. Man, so many good themes on shelves. It was hard to choose what to do, but Knight's Kingdom, staked its claim early, at least in my life.
Yeah.
That's why.
So, talk about why you love it. What made Knight's Kingdom 2? So, like, if someone was to look back at this theme and they're like, I want to take takeaways for when I do the next Lego Castle theme, what do you think, or what are things in Knight's Kingdom 2 that you think are important takeaways from the theme?
Having gone back and having done the revisiting videos,
which I'll have all those linked down below.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
So especially when I got to look through it at the lens, of an adult back on those sets, and I've done plenty of other revisiting videos too. Exploring older themes or themes from my childhood. I think what Knight's Kingdom nailed more than anything else is just the playability. A chief example of that, if we want to go back to the first wave, is Citadel of Orlon, right? Where you have the boulders that Santis splits to raise the drawbridge, which was a crazy contraption that you never see. From like the boulders were weighted, there's pieces inside the boulders. You've got the snake thing, which looked terrible on the side of the build, right? But again, a really cool function that as you moved it forward, its mouth opened. You had the slide and the spinning axes, nothing revolutionary there. But there was the chest that you would open up. It would knock the axe down. Yeah. And then the best one is Raskus's climbing thing. And that is just one example. But think of the transforming feature in the Castle of Morcia. The poundable tournament thing. And like these sets, they don't look great. And I wouldn't say that even all the play features worked terribly reliably, but they worked well enough to be super, super fun. And you can tell that was the focus of the designers more so than the aesthetics. It was a play theme. And when you're 6 years old, you want to have fun, and you don't really care what it looks like. And I think LEGO has certainly lost or completely flipped those priorities in recent years. And it would be nice, especially for when I think of like what I would want my kids to grow up with. I would want them to have fun. I don't want them to be like, wow, this is the most beautiful set ever. I can't play with this. Yeah. And that's what so many people feel these days when I hear about that with kids all the time, right? They don't want to take their sets apart. And that pains me to no end. LEGO is meant to be destroyed. That's half of the equation, right?
And I do think that, not to go a little rabbit hole here, that does come into the this era where everyone's like, oh, it's a collection hobby, and there's all these content creators who are like, this is a collector's item that you put on your shelf and you collect this. And it's not like, hey, we always need to remind people, like, these sets are meant to be broken or played with or like torn apart to make your own adventures with. I love that you brought up Castle of Morcia because I was thinking of that play feature of like how you swap the parts around and you got your bad guy castle because and it goes with the story too. And we're going to get into the lore here in a second or the whole story of this theme. And I love that it's like, hey, Vladik takes over the castle, so the castle turns evil. Okay, that makes perfect sense. And also you can buy two of them and have a good and bad guy castle if you want it.
Or like when you're a kid who doesn't have a job, you've got two castles for the price of one.
Exactly. So you can have your good guys invading the bad guy castle or the bad guys invading the good guy castle, whichever one you want to do. And also the first one you brought up, I was thinking about that one a lot recently because Brickmaster Harry did a short about it.
Yeah,
it's just like,
I remember that.
He was calling out LEGO for the same thing. And I was just like, that feature where
it's Raskus, the green guy.
Raskus, the green guy. Yeah, exactly. My favorite one. Is going up, and it's like such a weird but creative play feature that, again, all those play features in it go with the story. And I think that brings us right into something else that's so great about this theme is it's story driven. But at the same time, you can still have fun with some of these sets outside of that.
Yeah.
But like the story, I do wish they'd done a better job in some areas of the story of like how they documented it. There were the books, and I'm guessing there was some Lego.com stuff, and the comics, which were really cool. I was just looking at them before we were shooting, and it was
Mike Rayhawks.
Yes. Yeah. He has a website with all the drawings in like super high definition. I was looking through them. It's like, this is a masterpiece of storytelling right here.
The amount of artist work that went into, because you have 110 of these cards, right? That we'll get to talking about. Yeah. Plus the comics. Just so much media. Just print media that went along with this.
4 or 5 books, if I remember right.
Who even knows? Like, there could be more that we don't even know about, like, because the instruction booklet's got the comics, and you had the chapter books and stuff. That's right. I should grab the chapter book before I forget, because it's right around the corner, hopefully. Chapter 1, Dark Victory. Zack! An electric bolt zigzagged through the air, crashing into the shield of the Black Knight. The villagers of Morcia held their breath to see what would happen next. And so will you. Because that's all we got for today.
That's actually like pretty. That
It was a higher reading level than I thought.
Yeah, that whole first part there just made me like want to start reading it.
Yeah, sorry, like the Black Knight laughed as the lightning splashed harmlessly off his shield. And yeah, this is like it is a level 4.
It's a level 4.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah. But again, there were books like this that were in the theme, and it's like you could read them. And again, like that was the era where I remember you would go to the library and you get your book.
$10 coupon off for Lego.
What? Is that still valid?
No. 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
Not for resale. So.
Oh dang!
I was hoping they'd advertise like the other books.
The art was in there too. I mean, that last page.
We got pictures. We got pictures throughout, and this is different artwork than what was in the comics. This is a different artist altogether. This is not Rayhawks, I'm pretty sure.
No, it's not, because it's a little more basic, like this image right here.
It says designed by Rick DeMonico, but I don't know if that means he did the artwork. I don't think it is.
Yeah, I'm guessing there was another company who sort of put
illustrated by Mata Design. We don't even get his name. That's so sad. Anyway.
But still, there were books, and there was that. And I think that was just really like the whole first. I remember you talking about this when you did your revisiting video for the first line, where all the sets are the story of what the adventures these characters are going on. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really cool. Like you get this story throughout the sets that you can follow. There's a map in the instruction booklet. I have one of the sets, and like you flip up the front of the box, and there's the map. Mm-hmm. That's cool. Like that. The fact that like not every theme needs to have stories and stuff. But the fact that, again, Knights Kingdom 2 was an experience. And look at all modern day media. Even Ninjago is doing this. Even Star Wars, Harry Potter. They make you a fan of this theme so that you get stuff outside of the books, outside of the movies, outside of the toys even now. Uh-huh. I mean, you get Harry Potter blankets. You get Harry Potter.
And like, we have to acknowledge that this is just a marketing scheme, but when you do it right, it is fun.
It is.
It's engaging, all-encompassing.
And you want to be engrossed in the world that you're getting into. And Knights Kingdom 2 did this. To believe it or not, they had bed sheets. I've seen them on Mercari. They had cups and plates and napkins. Yeah, costumes. Like, you have a bin of this stuff right here.
Should we bring out the bin of weird? A lot of it was like party favor stuff. So these are like stamps you would stamp your birthday invitations with. These still work, which is awesome. Oh, and to invite people to your birthday, of course, you've got the Knights Kingdom themed invitations. It's brilliant. Party favors for your guests with a sticker sheet.
That is awesome.
This is really cool. And then this is actually a gift from Brad. The Knights Kingdom napkins for your birthday party. But I mean, we're talking, I think they had at least tablecloths, maybe balloons.
I know they had also cups and plates. I don't know about balloons. I never saw that.
You could host a killer Knights Kingdom themed birthday party very easily. They had all this stuff. This is all like Wave 2 stuff primarily.
Okay.
That's interesting to note too. They didn't go all out. I mean, they definitely did go all out on Wave 1, but they kept doing it. They didn't give up, which is fun. So often you see like, things start falling apart with these original themes pretty early on, but they were committed until Wave 3. Then everything fell apart real fast.
Yeah, but I mean, they tried. It was a wave to go out on.
It was indeed a wave that we went out on.
I mean, they threw in the Naked Knights, and it's just...
There are great things about Wave 3. There are also some serious issues. Yellow Legs were hard to come by, and as a kid, of course you want.
I mean, Paradisa had them, didn't they?
I know, but that was way before my time.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Paradisa's 90.
Oh, yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah, don't quote me on that.
So what else do you think from Knights Kingdom 2 is like super important?
I got to talk about the trading cards.
Yes, trading cards.
I think so. The trading cards were included with every Wave 1 and Wave 2 set. So with Wave 1, there was a set of cards, set of 3 cards you get with each set. Wave 2, I think it was just random from what I understand. But there was 110 of these things to collect all together, and each one just dropped a little bit of story, lore, information about the characters of the world.
Had amazing art on them too.
Yes, this is all, or at least mostly, Mike Rayhawk stuff. We can definitely take a look at them. Yeah. So it has been my dream to collect them all. And I just put them in a nice binder. Just last 2 weeks. In the last 2 weeks. But yeah, so some of these are way too difficult to get. Like we're talking, some of these are exclusive to the Scholastic board game.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And some of them do just come with like those extra gear items. You're not getting any of these with the napkins, don't worry.
Yeah.
But in the US, for instance, there were versions of the big buildable figures that they were a Target exclusive or something that had 3 bonus cards in each of them.
Really?
So yeah, there's a standard version with 3 cards, and then there was the bonus card version, which had like 3 ultra rare cards, and they were primarily some of these based off the character that they came with. And then I think the Castle of Morcia came with 5. And there was just anomalies like that. They're super cool. They're really fun. The artwork is just phenomenal. It's so over the top for what it needed to be.
Yeah.
And along with these, there's a silly little game you can play. You can see the numbers on the back and the front for that, or whatever order you want to call it. But yeah, it's like a rock, paper, scissors with extra steps sort of game. I don't think there's a ton of value in playing the game itself, but it is a fun little thing. We've often talked about doing a Knights Kingdom card game tournament at Brickworld or something along those lines, just for the memes. Yeah, and I know I mentioned the board game earlier, but the board game is probably one of the worst games I've ever played. It's just a time-killing game for kids to get them to leave you alone. So if you're into that, I would definitely invest in that game. But make sure, once again, there's a version of the board game that comes with 5 cards, and there's a version that comes with 25. And you definitely want the 25 card version.
And there's some cool, again, like the cards are really cool. Like the artwork is fantastic. Again, like look up this artwork if you haven't looked into it.
Definitely drop the link to Mike's page.
Yes, I'm going to put that down there because it's
just
awesome.
fun to explore. And he does talk about just some little Easter eggs, behind the scenes stuff, about the design of the sets, about his time working for the LEGO group. And yeah, it's just interesting.
And they're what, 110 cards?
110 cards.
And again, this is like peak trading card time where everything had, Pokemon and all this stuff. I actually don't know when Pokemon, I feel like Pokemon has always been peak.
No.
So, it's cool because they did try some other things. Like I think Adventures at one point had a trading cards that came with the sets.
Yeah, the Orient Expedition stuff. I think those are more, again, tied into the game than anything else.
Right.
But it was cool. But these were just so premium because you have the fun shaping of them, the artwork. Like it felt next level, and it's not just regular paper too. It's nice and
they look good. There's lots of really interesting facts if you read through them. Like I really think all these need to be documented better because they are. We need to make a website just for
just with high quality scans of these. And documenting where they come from, that's the hardest thing. Bricklink does a very good job. There's decent pictures on all that. But there's some cards that we just have never been able to find. And there are pictures on Bricklink, and I have no idea where they come from. It's very, very interesting. Collecting these has been kind of fun. Especially, when I found that stupid board game, that was like, whoa! And there's like 20 exclusive cards in that or whatever.
And that board game is not that expensive when you look on the aftermarket for it. At least the times I've found, I don't know.
It's hard to find the 25 card version.
Okay, yeah.
I think I paid $60 for mine, which was a total scam. But I was so pumped because the cards made it worth it. But yeah, because there are more of the standard 5 card version out there. So all you card collecting enthusiasts, be on the watch.
And again, this goes back into what I was talking about earlier. They wanted to make it an experience, not just, you get the sets, but you get, like, Legos nowadays, it's like, the One Piece tiles that you can collect, or the Harry Potter tiles. They sort of try to do stuff like this, but the fact you're getting cards is like...
Yeah,
and
it
there's
takes you out of the Lego space. And like, not that either of us like being taken out of the Lego space, but this...
But it keeps you in the Lego space because they're Lego.
It's kind of the best of both worlds, you know, and it gives you that break a little bit, something different. I think that's the value here. Whereas, like, your Harry Potter wizarding trading cards, it's more Lego prints at the end of the day. They're cool, I like them, but this is more special because it is more special. There was a lot more work and thought put into this, even if the game itself isn't perfect. It's still fun to play. It's better than the board game. I'll tell you that. Yeah. But yeah, I think this is one of the most memorable things. Because, I remember my brother and I lining these all up on the floor, just kind of like reading through the facts, learning about these characters. And if Lego had someone to properly oversee the story, like they do with Ninjago or something, they could have made this something really, really special. There are definitely like plot holes and like weird stuff going on in this story, and it was rushed to a conclusion, but there's the groundwork was there. They were very close to like, this could have been Ninjago. I think the timing was off, perhaps.
This team kind of sort of laid the groundworks for Ninjago.
Oh, definitely. I mean, look at the format, look at the colors. I think it's not too difficult to draw a few similarities between the two. I'm sure, I don't know enough about Ninjago, but I'm guessing the story is very similar with the wise old mentor and it's kind of a formula that Lego loves to follow.
They started with that at least. I mean, because again, this was after Bionicle, if I remember right.
Yep.
And Bionicle was their big win of here story-driven theme. Then they tried it with this, and it did all right. And then it's like Ninjago, and then we've got Chima, and then it's Nexo Knights, and like they keep Monkey Kid. They keep trying to find the amazing formula. And it's so cool that they did try to do it with Castle. That's what I really appreciate. Is like I
suppose this is the only proper instance of that happening
in Lego Castle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, unless you want to connect Nexo Knights, which
I get. Yeah, even that it wasn't quite like this.
Yeah.
Because that was just a TV show. I guess there's some bugs.
Yeah, there are also some really good books, honestly, with like artwork and stuff like that.
Which is great. But Nexo Knights, I feel, has a higher barrier to entry just by nature of what it is.
Yeah.
It's just, that's not going to appeal to everybody. And like Knight's Kingdom, especially to a younger audience, just screams medieval castle fantasy fun.
Exactly. And I think Lego Castle has the groundworks to do a story-based theme with that. Now, I know not everyone wants a story-driven theme for Lego Castle, but if you want to appeal to kids, it's a great place to start. And I think that's been kind of ignored where people are like, because like I think there's a way to do both. I think you could do something that's a story-driven theme, but it's also like basic knights and stuff like that, so you can do your medieval armies and just have fun with it. And again, a theme doesn't need to be story-driven to be good. Generic is okay, but also story does appeal to some people, and it's fun to get immersed into. That's why I like getting into it.
And I think this is a good point because you've talked a lot about Vladik, and so I think Lego had half the formula here because you did get generic knights, just not for the good guys, but the bad guys.
Oh my gosh, the bad guys are so good in this theme. I was letting you...
No, go for it.
Okay, Vladik is so...
I'm not going to stop you now.
Vladik, is, big bads in Lego Castle are always fun to me. So Basil the Batlord, Cedric the Bull, and you got to name the third member of that trio there, Vladik. I feel like those three are just
iconic villains.
The iconic trio of bad guys in Lego Castle.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the coolest looking figure?
The helmet's great.
His helmet is great. And I love him as a big fig, which I feel like we should talk about the big figs.
Should I go grab them? I'm going to go grab them.
Yes, do it. Do it. I will say, if they made this version into a minifigure, it would be amazing. This was, what's the name of this set?
It doesn't have it on the
Lord Vladik.
With cannon.
8702. Just going quickly.
Yeah, it's not got the autofocus on, so...
okay, well, you guys should look this set up because... Or maybe I'll just throw an image of it up. Whatever. This guy looks awesome. He's got a stark red cape. He's got awesome silver...
Oh, I guess the back's not super helpful, but...
No. It just shows you the other figures.
You get a little better, clearer view of him here.
No matter what, he looks awesome. But that's the thing. Vladek is just this, and the lore behind him of how he was the right-hand person in Morcia and then takes over. Well, he throws the king in a dungeon, says he went missing, and takes over. There's also, like, Ancoria, which he takes over that kingdom. And the Shadow Knights, which are his knights, which are the Scorpion Knights. If I remember right, they're soldiers in Morcia who he controls, and then once he's beaten, they go back to normal.
Wait, the cards will enlighten us.
Yeah. We're gonna keep going back to these cards because they're.
We got the Shadow Knights. Shadow Knights do not have minds of their own. Since their transformation, they do not obey the code of honor and only do what Vladek tells them to do. Once the Shadow Knights were on the side of good, but Vladek transformed them, and now they have to follow his orders. Unless Vladek can be defeated, the Shadow Knights will obey his bidding forever. It actually shows him transforming what appears to be Danju, or one of Danju's countrymen here in this photo, which is so sad.
That's so, again, little bits of story, you can just do little bits of story like that, which would be on cards or like in instructions and set, like they did with the Lion Knight's Castle, and it'd be so good.
And like, you don't need that for the Shadow Knights to still be cool.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know, like, it just, so I think that's nice that there's something there for everybody.
Yeah. And again, I think that's one of the biggest, like, army builders. Always go for the Shadow Knights when it comes to, like, if they're going to do anything from Knights Kingdom 2, because the good guys didn't really have anything. Which, again, they could have easily thrown some good guy soldiers in there, and it made the theme so much better, in my personal opinion, of, like, doing that. So, again, I think it's really cool because you, like, just Vladek is this cool character. He's got this cool story behind him. And the figures, again, he's just this iconic member of this villain trio. I don't know.
And it was interesting too, I think, when we talk about the different ways of Knight's Kingdom, to see the development between each one, because each version, the art style changed, and like the minifigures, you know, they grew and changed with that. And so when you get to Wave 3, you got this really insane chromed up version of Vladek, right? And whereas in the front, they're almost more comic-y in nature, which is there's pros and cons to that too, you know, but it was really fun to see how much cooler they, I think, objectively got when, as the theme went on, you get the nicer armor pieces and all this stuff too, especially in the bigger figures, and that was really sweet.
You know, I just realized, okay, so we just did a video, which will be on his channel, about the history of Lego Fantasy Era.
Maybe it already is.
Yeah, who knows?
Mine's going to take a lot longer than that.
So, if you look at Fantasy Era, one thing we talked about was how it was a darker theme.
Yeah.
I think Knight's Kingdom 2, if you look at the transition, they were starting to get to that darker point.
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
You got the dark green plates. And
it sort of is starting to transition, and they're like, wait, hold up. Maybe we should just go full on in this for a theme. And then the next, then we got Vikings, which definitely moved in that direction of a darker castle theme. And then it was Fantasy Era. So it's like, it feels like Knight's Kingdom 2, you can see that transition.
For sure. One set that I think of right away is Knight's Castle Wall, inspired name. But it's got these huge 4x12 green bricks, not even base plates. You know, it just harkens back to a very different time, and like these bright colors, which are awesome.
Yeah.
And then even with Vladek stuff, was using just regular red, you know, in the beginning, and then it slowly shifted to dark red.
Did his castle have dark red, or
the Castle of Morcia Transformation had dark red, but there was no regular red, I think, in Wave 2, whereas that popped up a lot.
I meant his big castle.
Oh, that's dark red.
Okay, that's
Dark Fortress,
which is
Wave
an
2
amazing set.
Yeah.
Like
crazy huge castle. I think I remember when I did the revisiting video on that, I looked at the price per weight, and it was like one of the best price per weight sets of all time.
Really?
Inflation adjusted even.
That's
just because it's so bulky. It's under 1,000 pieces, and it was $100 in 2005, which is insane. But also, it was like just an unheard of amount of plastic.
Yeah, which is that whole set is insane. I need to still get my hands on it.
I shouldn't have torn it apart. So, I mean, that's the problem. Like, where do you put that? It's huge. Same with Castle of Morcia on the raised base plate. That thing's tall.
Yeah. It looked like it from the video. Like,
Yeah.
it really had some height to it.
It's a beauty, though. I love Castle of Morcia because it has its own distinct style, whereas it's got a tower on the side. I don't know. This is just generic castle flavored.
And then Two Kingdoms in 2013.
Yeah, they even got more generic, like, because they don't even have like the arches, you know. Like, this has a little bit of flair going on. Definitely not in the color scheme, but Knights Kingdom was not afraid. It was that very futuristic. That's why it's compared to Nexo Knights a lot, because.
But I don't think it's like as futuristic as it's fantasy based.
Yeah,
and I think sometimes fantasy can just be wild, and that's okay. Yeah. Like, and I think they did a good job of that, being like, this is directed at kids. This is not supposed to be real life. There's magic in it, the story, and all that.
Vladic's a sorcerer. And
exactly.
I like that about it.
And also, again, we talked about Vladic. There are 5. In the first 2 waves or so, other main characters, and then we get some other guys later on.
I know. I don't want to even get into the spoilers with what. Yeah.
Okay, but
3
like
gets really crazy.
It's the main 4 is Raskus, Danju.
Come on. One starts with an S. A.
Samson? No.
Santis. And then the blue one.
J. Jaco.
Let's go.
Not to be confused with the blue ninja J from Ninjago.
See, more parallels.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. And then, who's the king?
Matthias?
Yeah. All right. Okay, that wasn't so bad.
I was just looking at these figures earlier. I don't know why they all just went out of my mind.
Okay.
But again, like, each of them had their own special traits and stuff like that, and the colors, and it was really cool. Like, the king itself is a really cool minifigure. I wish they had done more of King Matthias' soldiers. I will say that's like big...
literally nothing. They're pictured in some of the trading cards in the comics, but there was never a minifigure version, which does surprise me. And I'm sure there would have been like one included in one set, and it would cost like $30.
Exactly.
Now. But they didn't. So the closest we got is in like the chess set.
Right.
Okay, so there's a bunch of like Jaco clones essentially. Yeah. But the whole idea was that each of the 4 knights came from their own province in the land of Morcia, and back home they had their own armies. So one of the craziest things is the unreleased polybags with like those were essentially the armies, and they were rebranded to bear the same names as the main characters. So there's a Vladic polybag that was released, and it's a Shadow Knight with John Thunder's head. And it's like Vladic, just plastered onto the polybag.
When he was a kid, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Jaco one is Jaco as an old man, and he's got the archer helmet. Yeah. And it's goofy stuff like that. But I think the intent was to make those the armies, but it just kind of, the sets were never released, or like released in weird places. Like the Jaco and the Vladic ones were the only ones that actually ended up being produced massively. You can still find some of the Santis, Danju, and Raskus crazy weird recolored parts out there that would love to own those, but those are, I don't know if you've seen that. It's a red Fabuland axe, the I think is it a green spear, and then it's a purple halberd for Dan.
Right. And then there's like some weird color variations for the helmets too. Mm-hmm. But again, I will say I wish they hadn't done 4 knights. I mean, it is Knights Kingdom, but it's like you could have done like a knight, a wizard, an archer, ranger, any ranger.
I wonder if the play feature in the action figures is the reason. Because like you saw them break away at least in Wave 3, where they got some more interesting weapons. You got an axe and you got
a mace.
Yeah, but I wonder when they started out, they just weren't thinking like that. Because like a bow going like, it doesn't quite.
I mean, you could have done like a arrow type thing in it that you shoot out, but
they ended up. Wave 2, at least, they changed the formula for the bodies. They all had different functions because that was one of the big gimmicks. They had I can't even remember. They all had funny names for their signature sword fighting move. But for the Wave 1 action figures, it was literally the same body.
And we got one of the canisters
Yeah,
here.
here
So
we
if you
go.
don't know the big buildable knights they had, this was the final wave. They came in these canisters, which is like sort of Bionicle. Like
These are nice though. Like
Yeah,
the
I
previous
like
ones
these
were all
ones.
plastic. This is
and they're supposed to be, if you look at the map, like the towers in
Actually,
Morcia.
like, check out that looks
That-
sick.
Again, Bionicle was sort of like an inspiration for that. But I know these get a lot of hate, but I do think they're really cool because it's like, again, you're talking about a 6-year-old kid. It fits perfectly into the hand instead of that tiny figure, and you can actually battle it out. Like,
Yeah, it was so much fun because it's super geared up. And whereas in that first wave of Bionicle, you had to build the gearbox yourself, which when you're 6 years old, it probably wouldn't have gone so well. So throwing the gearbox in a pre-built piece was probably really nice for a lot of kids.
Yeah.
I sure liked it. I wasn't touching Technic when I was that old.
yeah, and they're fun. Like, I mean, it's a cool concept. It's a cool idea. And again, I think you're right. The reason they probably did 4 Knights is because of that. I mean, again, action figures were really big during that time, so it does make sense that they leaned in that direction.
And the other thing too, wave 1, the whole point was use the sword to bash in the shield of your opponent. So when you knock the shield
cards?
they're included in the card packs. I'd run and get it, but I've run and got enough stuff. But yeah, it was literally, there was just a cardboard thing. It's made of I think it's a slightly stronger material than the cards themselves. But yeah, those things hold up remarkably well.
Really? Even when a kid's bashing a sword into it?
Oh yeah, all of my shields are like some of the ink is scratched off of them, but none of them are like dented or bent, which is really weird. So yeah, they're definitely bent. The cards don't hold up quite that well. But yeah, that was the main function. So you need the sword, you need a shield.
It's true.
And yeah, those were finicky. That was the worst part of building those figures, was attaching those shields. They're finicky because they're designed to fall off.
Yeah, and they're paper, and they just like clip on through the little hole. If I remember
so there's
right.
a single stud, and then you put a transparent 2x2 disc on top of it. Super specialized piece that they actually used in an Iron Builder once in blue. It was
really.
I think I don't know if the piece either came out. It makes sense it would be developed for Knight's Kingdom, but it was repurposed as in blue as side mirrors for a car, a Technic car. At one point, maybe in other sets too. I'd have to look that up when it exactly came out, but I would assume it's a Knight's Kingdom piece because the angle's weird. I'm sure it's not on system, but maybe.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. So is there anything else from Knight's Kingdom 2 that you think is like, it's like a good standout thing? Like, these are the good takeaways from looking at the thing.
I mean, I love to talk about Blue Violet. And I guess to that extent, Knight's Kingdom very much in its sets, especially in the first wave, had a strong visual language. And we talked about this in passing, just that set it apart from other castle themes, where it wasn't afraid to embrace its own architecture. And along with that, it had its own color scheme, which was the Blue Violet, which was more or less exclusive to the Knight's Kingdom line. And unfortunately, it was discontinued halfway through the run of the theme. So there's actually variants of the set where you'll see the Blue Violet replaced with standard blue. And because of that, much like we talked about with Fantasy Era, the same thing happened with Copper, Metallic Copper. So there's a few sets that have exclusive blue pieces in them sometimes, which is crazy. So the best example of that is the horse helmet in Vladic's Dark Fortress. You could either get it in Blue Violet, or in later runs of the set, you'd get it in straight blue, and it's exclusive to that set.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's so, oh my gosh, that's so bizarre.
So I do have a blue variant of Vladic's Dark Fortress.
Okay.
Which sucks, but at least I have the blue helmet. Yeah. because of course, like, I love Blue Violet. It is the Knight's Kingdom color because it's so essential for that first wave of sets when you look at Castle of Marcia, especially when there's so many pieces exclusive to that set in Blue Violet.
And I think when you're talking about colors and stuff and how they matter to themes, I think, let's take a second look outside of Knight's Kingdom 2 for colors for a second.
Yeah.
Because I think colors, everyone likes to look at, I've seen people talk about other LEGO themes and they're like, well, this doesn't very historically correct or stuff like this. And I think it's like, you got to remember, LEGO Castle isn't supposed to be historically accurate. And it's also...
Jaco isn't real?
Jaco isn't real, I'm sorry. Actually, you know what? Jaco is an actual character from Britain, like, back in the...
I thought this was real. No.
But, like, Lego Castle, each, if you talk about original Lego Castle to Fright Nights and how that's its own...
Yellow Castle.
Exactly. Like, they're supposed to be their own worlds. It's supposed to be their own world. And, like, if it's its own world like Star Wars or Harry Potter, there's things that they can do in it just for that. And I really like it when we get a faction and you can tell the vehicles and sets for that faction based on the color scheme. I think Kingdoms did a really good job of this, where you would see dark green and black, and you're like, yep, that's a Dragon Knights. And if you would see red and gold and some of this other stuff, that's Lion Knights. And 2013 Castle even did that pretty well. Like, I think that's important to a theme, and I think that's really cool. It makes it visually appealing for kids. And I think Knights Kingdom 2 did that really well. When you look at the sets, you know exactly what faction or group whether it's good or bad guys. And I think having gray walls with that color, into it, it makes it look more appealing, a little bit to your change when you're building it, so it's not just gray the entire time. I love the Lion Knight's castle, but that whole thing is just, like gray. Like,
very fast, yeah.
So, I think that's something really cool from Knights Kingdom 2 that they leaned into that so much.
I think that's why the third wave is not that interesting to me, because all of the playsets look the same, and with what little story there is in Wave 3, that's kind of the point. These are buildings that are neither good nor bad; they're neutral. But that's not fun when you're a kid. The neutral building that your guys randomly find and fight at, like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And so, yeah, the personality of the buildings, Vladic's Dark Fortress and Castle of Morcia, they got their distinct architecture style and very different color scheme. And it's great.
Because you can sort of have, Morcia versus Ancoria. Like, you could have that set up. You got your darker world of Ancoria, and then Morcia is this, brighter, more green land.
It really encourages you, too, to expand upon that world, right?
Yeah.
Like, I remember doing that as a kid, right? You get all your brown rocks, your volcanic-looking lava stuff, and put that in Ancoria, and you put all your green base plates or whatever to try to fill out the land of Morcia. It just, it's inspiring.
And on top of that, it's a castle area with an actual named location. I mean, like, Fantasy is like Western Kingdom and Eastern Kingdom, but it's like...
Yeah, that's a direction.
Exactly. Whereas, like, this is the kingdom name, and I love that. Like, I feel like once in a while they should just be like, this is the kingdom of blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, it doesn't have to
make up a word, right?
Exactly. It doesn't have to be a lion. Like, oh, this is the kingdom of the Lion Knights.
Like even all of the home kingdoms of the characters.
Oh, yeah.
You can see Castle Talonjay is where Jaco's from, right? It's like, it guards the shores of Morcia. So it's like, it's part of the kingdom, just a castle there. Danju's got Castle of Alendin, or Alendin, rather. The Castle of Orcasan is where Santis is from, and then Castle of Banteras is where Raskus is from. Again, like, some dude just made up names one day, and it was awesome. Like,
that's amazing.
You want to go and build those things. You don't need Lego to make a set for each of those. Like, I get it, they're not going to sell, but it's great for kids to get the gears going. Great for adults. Now I want to go build the Castle of Banteras. It looks
right.
dope.
We need to build all four of those.
Yeah, it's like a tree kingdom. There's pictures of it, done by the artist to get you started. That's awesome.
Again, however, when it comes to Lego Castle, it is very easy to be like, I want to do what I want with it. That is great. If all you want to do is just build random castles, have fun with your faction stuff, that's amazing. Go do that. But it's also, let the people just like, I want to get engrossed into a story. That Knights Kingdom 2 is perfect for that. It's perfect for if you want to get engrossed into a story, engrossed into the world. Like, it's the reason I do the Tavern Talk series, is so you can get engrossed into the world of Lego Castle, so you can enjoy it, so you can be like, I really, like, it's so, in today's culture, I feel like, in getting engrossed into things, like, how many of us have cared way too much about Star Wars and named all the characters?
Like being a nerd is acceptable now.
Exactly.
So like, I think people want that. People have always wanted that. There's so much less of a stigma against it now.
It's fun to escape from the world we live in, and as adults right now, that world is
in Morsia for a minute.
Yeah, it's great. So I love that. I love that about this theme, and I think it's just so important to highlight. So many people like hate on it. I'm just like, no. We can have both.
You missed the point.
And I think I think we could easily do a theme that's the middle ground of both of those, and it would be so much fun.
Yeah.
So before we wrap this up, there's one thing I want to talk about.
Oh.
We've all been talking about what we want for the future Lego Castle, but if Knights Kingdom 2 was, since they've been targeting a certain group, maybe eventually they'll be like, oh, there's a bunch of Knights Kingdom 2 fans, we need to make remakes of those sets. Or even some figures in a CMF line. What would you like to see if Knights Kingdom 2 was remade some way in the modern era for...
That's a great question. I think Vladik showing up in a CMF would be pretty great. It's a no-brainer after Basil.
I want Cedric and Vladik, the two characters, number one on my list, and it's like, we got an awesome helmet for Basil. I want to see the awesome helmet that they could make. Like, it wouldn't have to have the visor that goes up and down. That could be one solid piece.
Vladik had a crazy face prints throughout Knights Kingdom. Like a more realistic, I would like to see the interpretation of Vladik's face, maybe based more on the card art and something like that.
I'd love to see a more dark, detailed dark red chest plate.
Yeah.
And then underneath, what I think they should do, Scorpion torso underneath.
So you can army build. Yep, that would be sick.
Because then you just call it the Scorpion Knight, but he just looks awesome.
I'm trying to think if there would be like a gift with purchase that they could do, like an actual reasonably sized, iconic.
What's that small set from the first wave? That's the Vladik on the horse versus the catapult.
Like, I feel like that doesn't have enough oomph to it. It's so hard because there's 4 characters and you can't throw them all in a gift with purchase. Unless that's the gift with purchase.
Yeah.
You just get
I'm fine with that.
Right? But as much as I would like to see Blue Violet brought back, there's a lot of blues in the current Lego parts portfolio, the color inventory, whatever you... But I feel despite all those blues out there, there's nothing that matches the royalty, of the blue violet. It is still somehow a unique color, and questionably useful. I think it runs into the same problems that maybe sand purple would run into, and sand purple is never going to be brought back. But it's hard to imagine a world of Knight's Kingdom without blue violet.
Which we have plenty of dark red, so Vladik's Dark Fortress would be the perfect remake then.
Exactly.
Because then you could have the 4 knights be 4 of the characters that come in it. You got Vladik. You got some Shadow Knights.
Such a crazy fun remake. I just can't imagine it would sell because there's no Knight's Kingdom fans. But that's why we're making you Knight's Kingdom fans.
Look, we got 6 Knight's Kingdom videos coming from you at some point. Another 2. We'll get this. Eventually, I'll do my tavern talk on Knight's Kingdom 2 because I got to make sure that people care about this theme. I need to get all the books, read all the cards.
Yeah, there's so much stuff to look into, and to have that all compiled, especially the story in one place, would be quite beneficial.
Oh, yeah. I'm very excited to do that video. That's going to be probably one of the last tavern talks I ever do because it'll take up a year of my life to compile all that.
Exactly, because you got to read all the cards because they got little tidbits, and I don't know how many books there are, but there's got to be a few. You would think.
I have a few of them actually. I was at one point trying to get them all to do this video, but
do they have one for each of the characters? Because we got what? Raskus
I think so, and I can't, if I remember right, Vladik has a picture of the front one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not a book about Raskus in the slightest, but.
But, okay, anything else that you would love to see, set-wise? Is there any... I guess, because it's hard, because Castle of Morcia would be really cool, but we're not going to get a raised base plate, and also, if Blue Violet's not coming back, that is going to hurt it a lot.
I know, right? What color? They could just do blue, but I imagine they would use dark blue, honestly.
Yeah.
Which would be fine, but I feel like also kind of goes against all the things we were saying, bright, bold colors.
Yup.
I don't know. I feel that's the spirit of Knight's Kingdom. The spirit of Knight's Kingdom is Wave 1, and all its chaotic comic glory. And like, again, go to that Mike Rayhawks website and you'll see like some of the early concept art was bonkers wild. It was almost had a Chima flair to it with the design of the castles. They were very animalistic in nature, which was cool. I'm kind of glad it went the route it did, you know, treading that line between something a little bolder, but and then also the traditional castle look. I think it's a really cool aesthetic that they established for Morcia especially, but Citadel of Orlon too.
So, that's the one with the climbing feat.
Yep.
That'd be a cool remake.
Yeah, especially if you incorporated all the play features.
Yes.
Modern parts.
And there's so many modern parts you could use to make it look better. Like there's the snake molds from. Like,
the snake would look a lot
so much better. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. I remember someone did at Brickworld Chicago. Yeah. Someone had a build of that, which was really cool.
That was so fun to see. There are people out there who love Knight's Kingdom still.
And if you love Knight's Kingdom, you should comment down below what other takeaways you think you have from the theme, what you would love LEGO to remake from Knight's Kingdom 2, maybe what you don't like about Knight's Kingdom 2, but also I feel like we see those comments all the time, so let's keep it positive down there, guys.
We can correct you if you have some complaints about Knight's Kingdom, so by all means, if you want to get schooled.
If anything, you should definitely go watch Cheesey Studios videos he has done on this theme. It's really cool to look at the sets. He also goes through a little bit like the basic story through them. I'm really excited to see the other 2 videos you do about them. I watched the Big Fig videos. I honestly changed my mind about the Big Figs after I watched your video on it.
I think if you like parts at all, I think you're going to be kind of blown away by what they did for those. It's pretty cool. And they're just fun to play with.
And while you're over at his channel, you should hit that big subscribe button so that you see all of his content when it comes out, including those Knight's Game 2 videos, which we're going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep saying that so that you'll actually make that.
I want to. I've got the folder even on my computer. It's like, it's ready and ready to go. So it'll happen eventually.
It will. And also, while you're over there, you should check out the Fantasy Air collab we did. We put a lot of work into that while I've been here this week. And it was such a fun video to make. And awesome. It's such a great theme to talk about. And you should also subscribe to my channel for more LEGO Castle content and
more Knight's Kingdom
content. I'm gonna do it eventually, guys. Maybe I can find a smaller Knight's Kingdom 2 topic to go into first.
No, there's gotta be something. Yeah, just talk about each of the knights. You got a video for each of the knights.
Each of the knights.
Yeah.
If you guys want to see me start doing videos about each of the characters, honestly, that does kind of sound fun, and that would be a more manageable video.
Exactly. And that'll keep you busy for a while. I'd watch those.
Honestly, I might do that. That sounds like a lot of fun. But yeah, until next time, guys, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I hope you enjoyed this tale from my archives. Bye!
Yeah.